Ei. Chegou? Ei. Tá chegando? Tá. Vamos ver só se fica melhor de um jeito ou de outro. Pera aí.
Delegation of South Africa. Delegates decorum, please. Delegates take a seat. We'll now conduct roll call. Delegation of South Africa. Present or present in voting. Okay. Delegation of Saudi Arabia. Delegation of Argentina. Delegation of Argentina. Delegation of Brazil. Delegation of China. Delegation of the DPRK. Delegation of the United States. Delegation of Russia. Delegation of Israel. Delegation of Italy. Delegation of Italy. Delegation of Jordan. Delegation of Mexico. Delegation of Mexico. Presence and voting. Delegation of Pakistan. Delegation of the United Kingdom. Delegation of the Sri Lanka. Delegation of Tanzania. Delegation of Ukraine. Delegation of Uganda. Delegation of Venezuela. Delegation of Zimbabwe. Thank you, delegates. Delegation of Argentina. Delegate. So are there any motions in the House? Yes, delegate? That is in order, delegate. Your time starts now. The maximum of people being made. The maximum amount of people main submitting should be 5. The minimum is 3. Oh, and co-submitters, there is no maximum. Hey guys, delegate feedback will be held the break time after lunch. So there will be lunch, committee session, then break time. During that break time, if you'd like feedback from Maddie and I, will be here, okay? Delegates, there will also be a raffle at the end of the conference. But you'll have skincare kits and a JBL speaker. So if you'd like to sign up for the raffle, all the proceeds go to Projeto Refúgio, which is a wonderful project. So please sign up. If you need some help signing up, you can talk to me. Okay, delegates, so we're accepting cash and Pix for the raffle and the charioteers, which we have yet to decide. So yeah. Delegates, we're only accepting peaks for the we can only accept picks for the raffle and the chair dares. The raffle is really fun. I actually brought some of the stuff. So sign up, please. You can find everything about the raffle and just donations in general at the Google Classroom or at the Instagram, okay? Delegates, you have 8.5 minutes left. Please be mindful of your time. Delegates, you have just over 6 minutes left. Please be mindful of your time. Delegates, let's take advantage of the time that we're in unmoderated caucus. If you'd like to sign up for the raffle, please talk to us now or as soon as possible. Oh, and the skincare products are really good. I promise. Delegates, you have just over 2 minutes left. Please be mindful of your time. Delegates, I'll go fetch some water so the unmod will finish once I'm back.
Is there any quotes you would say in time of your modern call? Or more? So it's don't forget about what I for you as well. And
Learn about their legal rights, understand.
well, it's like singing on your phone because I can see many here. If you want to get the singing, it will be on my phone instead of. So when timer reaches 15, oh. When the timer reaches 10, I think.
Capture the flag will happen at night, and during lunch we'll have the knowledge bowl. And if you'd like to sign up for Knowledge Bowl, it'll happen here during lunch. I'll check the time, but it'll happen during lunch. And please sign up until it starts. Thanks. Delegates, you have until 11:05 to finish your resolutions.
Delegates, your time is over. So basically, we need to submit your resolutions to the Google Classroom, and we will be entertaining them in order of the first ones who submit will be going first, and then
Delegates, please take a seat. Not unmoderated caucus is over. Delegates, please take a seat. Has everyone uploaded their resolutions? Please upload the resolution and then add the main submitters and so upload like the link, main submitter, and then like description, main submitters, sei lá, Argentina, Venezuela, whatever, and the topic, so topic A, okay? choose one person to do that, please. This is not an unmoderated caucus. Delegates, please take a seat. Please, conversation between delegates is not in order. This is not an unmoderated caucus. You delegates, I'm just waiting for the internet to connect. Okay. Okay, so we will proceed in order of submission. So let me just double check that I've got all resolutions here. We have the resolution for topic A for Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, and South Africa. The resolution from the United States, hopefully with more than one main submitter. And the resolution for Russia, DPRK, China, Jordan, and Venezuela. Are we missing any resolutions? No? Great. So we will start with the resolution for topic A, main submitted by Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, and South Africa. Are there any motions to read the resolution? Federative Republic of Brazil. That is in order, delegate. Please come to the podium.
Delegates, just one delegate. It's one. Okay. You may start.
One, emphasize that all members bear the responsibility and fulfill principles, fundamental rights of work, as but not at least 30 minutes for every 6 hours of work. Regularly 6 hours of work. II, for working hours. One, up to 10 hours a day. Overtime work beyond regular hours shall be voluntary and compensated at a premium rate, not to exceed 12 hours in any given day and shall not exceed 48 hours per week. 3. Access to Social Security benefits. The right to organize in collective bargaining. 1. Workers shall have the right to freely associate from trade unions and engage in collective bargaining with their employees without fear of intimidation, harassment, or retaliation. 2. Employers should be prohibited from interfering with workers' exercise to their rights to organize or engage in collective bargaining, including acts of discrimination, dismissal, or retaliation against union members or organizers. Enchanting legislative frameworks to clearly define and prohibit modern slavery offenses and compulsory labor in any form, including I. Debt bondage, II, human trafficking, III, exploitation of vulnerable populations. C, safeguarding the rights of migrant workers, including I, access to national legal protection under national labor works, regardless of their immigration status, assuring a minimum salary that their commensurate with the cost of living, regularly reviewing and adjusting the minimum wage to keep pace with inflation and changes in living costs, measures to prevent their exploitation or abuse. 1. Providing migrant workers with access to information, training, and support services to empower them to assert their rights. 2. Conducting a regular inspections to workplace where migrant workers are employed to detect and address instances of labor exploitation, unsafe working conditions, and other violations of labor standards. 2. Further invites the UK to remove the Illegal Migration Act 2023 from their constitution. A. Seeking the development and implementation of inclusive and right-based migration policies to prioritize the protection of vulnerable individuals, promote social cohesion, and address the root causes of irregular migration while safeguarding the integrity of borders and national security interests. 3. Calls for increasing efforts to investigate and prosecute forced labor offense at both federal and state levels, led by International Labor Organization in China and North Korea, addressing 8. The implementation of independent investigation into allegations of forced labors with Uyghur and Hwazong concentration camps, conducted in collaboration with international human rights organizations and relevant stakeholders to ensure accountability for perpetrations and justice for victims. I. Disband the concentration camps profiting off the forced labors. B. A yearly report on forced labor activities per country, including information such as, but not limited to, I. Number of forced labor victims, II. Areas of improvement to tackle the issue, and X. Addressing risk in governments and business supply chains, III. Percentage of children in the forced labor's activities. 4. Encourages member states to adopt comprehensive national action plans or strategies to address modern slavery, focusing on prevention, protection, prosecution, and partnerships, and addressing root causes such as poverty, inequality, and weak governments by A. Develop and implementing targeted prevention programs and awareness-raising campaigns. B. Providing the specialized supports and protection measures for vulnerable groups. C. Facilitating international cooperation and information sharing to combat transitional networks involved in modern slavery. 5. Encourages enhanced cooperation and information sharing at regional and international levels to combat transitional networks involved in modern slavery, including through bilateral and multilateral agreements by A. Strengthening cross-border cooperation mechanisms between law enforcement agencies. B. Sharing best practices and intelligence to identify and disrupt criminal networks. C. 6. Calls upon the necessity of the implementation of a victim assistance program. A. Victims of forced labors to any age group will be provided with a support system including I. Access to comprehensive medical assessments and treatments to address physical injuries, illnesses, and long-term health consequences resulting from forced labor exploitation. II. Provision of mental health supports, crisis intervention, counseling, and therapy services to address trauma, emotional distress, and psychological harm experienced by victims of forced labors. Direct assistance to meet the immediate need for clothing, emergency protective shelter, money, and transportation, emergency repairs, protection through restraining orders. General advocacy services for the provision of assistance in making applications for victim compensation or private insurance. The system will be funded by a dedicated victim support fund established through contributions from preparators. The amounts to be invested by perpetrators into the fund will be determined based on the proportion taken into account the service and extent for the exploitation committed. 1. Factors such as but not limited to will be taken into consideration. A. The duration of forced labor. B. The number of victims involved. C. The economic impact of the victims. And D. The physical and psychological impact on the victims. Penalties and fines imposed on perpetrators for the crimes will contribute to the fund, with the severity of penalty corresponding to the level of harm inflicted on the victims. C. Ensuring gender repulsive measures and addressing the specific needs of women, girls, and marginalized groups facing international discrimination by implementing gender-sensitive policies and programs to prevent and address modern slavery, providing targeted support for survivors, including access to education, vocational training, and economic empowerment opportunities. 7. Deplores all associations involved with the compulsory labor through criminal prosecution, as well as the implementation of sanctions such as but not limited to asset seizure, authorizing the confiscation of assets belonging to organizations found to be completed in labor, including but not limited to 1. Financial holdings, 2. Property, and 3. Equipment. II, all proceeds will be directed to victim rehabilitation and support programs. B. Revocating the licenses and permits. I mandates the immediate annulment of license, permits, or certifications held by entities implicated in the preparation of facilitation of forced labors. II ensuring they are barred from engaging in any further commercial activities until demonstrating full compliance with anti-slavery measures. C. Restitution to victims, establishing mechanisms including the provision of compensation for long wages, damages for physical and psychological harm, and reimbursements for expenses incurred as a result for the exploitation. 8. Decides to remain actively seized upon the matter.
Thank you very much, Delegate. Does the delegate yield the floor back to the chairs?
So yielded.
Would any delegations be willing to speak in favor of this resolution? Delegation of Argentina, you have been recognized.
About the BRAMUN Cup, forget what I said earlier. The change is slightly different. We'll get some confirmation, but football and capture the flag might still happen during March, so we'll see.
Delegate, your time starts now.
Delegates, it is clear that this resolution is as just and fair as it could ever be and offers a solution for all countries. For far too long, the issue of modern slavery has been present in our society. An example of disregard for this situation, widely swept under the rug, is the UK's Illegal Migration Act 2023. Despite the UK's brilliant efforts to put an end to modern slavery, the act aims to deter illegal migration by denying certain protections and support for people identified as potential victims of modern slavery if they have entered the UK illegally, which is, quite frankly, appalling. For instance, in Ajur, Pakistan, the governmental police refused to investigate allegations of slavery, making clear the authorities' disinterest and negligence towards the population's issues with forced labor. Along with this, as one of the largest global manufacturers, it's funny that China is one of the world's largest exporters of cosmetics and clothes at unbelievably low prices without utilizing forced labor. Through these examples, it is clear that something must be done to mitigate these atrocities, which would ruin millions of lives yearly. Thank you.
Thank you. Delegate,
Any and all.
are there any in the House? Delegate Stan, followed by delegation of the USA, followed by Jordan, followed by Zimbabwe, and
How does the delegation to raise the necessary to fund this expensive operation?
Sorry, can I ask the chair what the delegate meant or no? Okay, point of personal privilege. Could the delegate restate the question? Or, sorry, rephrase the question.
How does the delegation of Argentina funds necessary?
Okay. Delegation of Argentina does recognize that most countries here, to some extent, are struggling economically. Right, so the delegation of Argentina would like to propose the idea for countries with a more favorable economy to help the rest of the UN to research and finish the cause of forced labor.
Thank you, delegates. United States, you've been recognized.
As a delegate of Argentina, besides besides measures to invest in prosecute action croissant that imposing economic sanctions in China would force them to stop utilizing these Muslim minorities to produce cheap labor for their own economic benefit.
Yes, delegation wholeheartedly agrees. That's a great idea proposed by the US.
Delegation of Jordan.
If slave labor is directly affected by poverty, why would putting economic sanctions that do not adhere to the solution help the developing countries with this resolution?
Sorry, could the delegate repeat the last part of the question? Point of personal privilege.
If slave labor, I would not adhere actually help them.
Well, as the delegation of Argentina stated, the delegation of Argentina wants first world countries to help countries that are not able to, as of right now, due to their poverty, contribute to the resolution. So the delegation of Argentina would like to sanction countries that don't even want to help the resolution and think that slave labor is fine or okay and that it helps an economy, such as what Pakistan stated.
The resolution does not impose sanctions against other countries, only against associations that are in forced labor.
Delegation of Zimbabwe. Delegation of Zimbabwe, you've been recognized.
Does the delegate fail to recognize that Clause 4 is a great ideology? However, in practice, it doesn't work since there is no financial aid for developing countries such as Zimbabwe, therefore making this resolution unachievable to fully eradicate modern slavery.
Well, the delegation of Argentina would like to propose an amendment then for the delegation of Zimbabwe to propose to request financial aid for countries that don't have enough money.
Very much, delegate. Delegation of Brazil, you have been recognized. Brazil didn't raise.
When the delegate agreed that stands out as the most effective, given its comprehensive approach to tackling modern slavery, prevention measures, and victim support mechanisms, thereby ensuring an impactful response to the.
Yes, the delegation wholeheartedly agrees.
Thank you very much, delegate. Does the delegate yield the floor back to the chairs?
Floor yielded.
No, that is not an order, delegate. That is an order. However, we will be only entertaining 2 points of information maximum. This is an order. You may. And delegates, as we're having 2 speeches in favor, we will be opening up for 1 more speech against. So if any delegation wish to prepare a speech against, that will be fine. Delegate, you have 1 minute and a half.
Honorable chairs and fellow delegates, Mexico stands resolute in its commitment to upholding the fundamental rights of workers and eradicating the scourge of modern slavery and forced labor. The delegation firmly believes that all member states bear a collective responsibility to ensure
fair working conditions, and the protection of workers' rights. These resolutions calls for the collaboration of all nations in the fight against modern slavery, standing as the defense of those wronged workers who don't even have the support, or shall I say, pacific support, of their own government and its leaders. Mexico then supports this resolution's emphasis on increasing efforts to investigate and prosecute forced labor offenses. In conclusion, as all delegates must have recognized, this resolution is complete, rich, not vague, and provides a comprehensive solution for this issue while ensuring victim support that has been negligenced for so long.
Thank you very much, Delegate. Is the delegate open to any points of information? Yeah. Okay, we will be entertaining DPRK and followed by Venezuela. So DPRK, you have been recognized.
Does the delegation of Mexico truly believe that citizens should be punished for wanting to help and work to make the country economy grow?
There's no
May the delegate please.
patient. The delegates never punished for work.
May the delegate please rephrase the question.
In the resolution, it states that workers should be working up to 10 hours maximum. And does the delegation believe that if the citizens want to work and love their jobs and want to help the country's economy growth, they can do that?
The clause actually was meant to state that workers should be expected to work 10 hours a day, but not limited to 10 hours a day. So companies should only ask for 10 hours of work time. However, it can be exceeded. There's also another clause about extra hours that have to be remunerated. There's another clause about extra hours. I can tell you.
Motion for
Okay, delegate, thank you. Delegation of Venezuela, you have been recognized.
Does the resolution, how does the delegations which support resolution thinks about economical policies involving an equilibrium between the policies adopted by the Ministry of Economics and also by the central bank of the government, having an alignment if you want to expand the monetary basis or it don't, because it affects development of the economy, and also as we stated before, it may cause inequality in other points, having a high interest rates. So how may the resolution face economical policies which involve the development of a country? And although the UN and supranational policies can really adopt a basis towards it, it can help with it. How may for example, the FMI, Fundo Monetário Internacional, help in the process of giving money, distribution of money, and proposing how does the BIS proposing policies for the central banks align the economical process to the diminishing of the modern slavery?
Sorry, point of personal privilege. May the delegate rephrase your question?
How may the delegations which support the resolution claim for more thinking resolutions by the BIS, which is the central bank, also World Central Bank Authority, which guides the process of lots of ideas which were implemented in some countries, such as the PIX in Brazil, which was thinking by the BIS, and how may possibly supranational institutions behave towards this, thinking on the economical development.
Uh, Delegates doesn't understand how peaks in Brazil relates to solving modern slavery around the world. Either way, the delegate does recognize that inequalities, socially and financially, are a big catalyst for these conditions, and the delegate is open to amendments that can address this issue.
That is not an order, delegate. That is not an order. Please sit down. Thank you, delegate. Does the delegate yield the floor back to the chairs?
So you
Are there any delegations willing to speak against this resolution? Delegation of Venezuela, you have been recognized.
Although this resolution is very well comprehended, there may be tons of issues which come along with it. For example, as mentioned by many times before, the economic availability of other countries, which are completely dependent on different countries. Not only that, but there's no measures that can prevent from certain countries not to commit certain crimes, meaning that there could be certain things which are completely evaded and ignored by certain countries. Not only that, but just installing different legislation systems won't only stop what the main problem is all about. What does this mean? This means that, for example, there's tons of laws against murder. What still happens with murder? Murder is still committed. If there's not a law that is reinstating a way to be able to prevent this, regardless of legislation, well, then this resolution paper seems to be very ineffective and very not the best one which could be.
Thank you very much, delegate. Is the delegate open to any points of information?
Yes.
We will only be entertaining two, DPRK followed by Russia. So DPRK, you have been recognized.
Does the delegate agree that certain clauses in this resolution, for example, clause 3, speaks about, does not constitute of facts and speaks about, for example, concentration camps in North Korea and China, which are not real and are not factual matters. Therefore, for example, this resolution cannot be trusted as a trustworthy resolution that will solve the issue.
The delegate agrees that there's tons of fallacies to be found within this resolution paper.
Thank you very much. Delegation of Russia, you have been recognized.
Does the delegation understand that this resolution is not concise enough and that it has very weak proposals to end the issue as a whole?
Absolutely. It is very vague in a month.
Thank you very much, delegate. Does the delegate yield the floor back to the chairs?
Yes.
Are there any other delegations willing to speak against this resolution? Delegation of Pakistan, you have been recognized.
Delegates, since lunch break is rapidly approaching, I'd like to update you on the BRAMUN Cup. For now, football and capture the flag have been canceled for now, but we will have Knowledge Bowl during lunchtime here in the conference room, in the committee room. So please come here and so that we can score a lot of points and win the BRAMUN Cup. Thank you. Delegate, your time starts now.
Honorable chairs, fellow delegates, ladies and gentlemen. However detailed this resolution may be,
Their optimistic plans to solve this major issue is not only financially taxing, as it is also near impossible for developing countries such as Pakistan, Jordan, and Venezuela to support and to action in their own nation. Therefore, the delegation of Pakistan deems this resolution imprecise, flawed, and ideological, and would not support it in their own nation, uh, as it is too financially taxing and impossible for the Pakistani economy to support.
Thank you, Delegate. Is the delegate open to any points of information?
And you know,
Are there any such points in the House? United Mexican States? No one. Followed by Argentina, and that will be all due to time constraints.
How can the delegate, holding one of the highest indexes of modern slavery in the world, be against a resolution that is only trying to solve this issue? Does the delegate fail to recognize? Does the delegate also fail to recognize that the systems funded by traders, as stated throughout the clauses in the resolution, and therefore it does tackle how the investment will be provided?
delegation recognizes the positive intents of the major bloc positions in this resolution. However, it is aimed at most modern slaves are in developing countries or of immigrants that migrate to developed countries. But this resolution would be great for developed countries who can financially support this system. However, underdeveloped countries such as Pakistan would be unable to support a resolution that is taxing and financially impossible for the Pakistani government to support.
As a very brief, as stated before, those systems by only the government, but also by the perpetrators of the forced slave practices. Does the delegate fail to recognize that?
Well, Pakistan, this resolution is to stop those perpetrators, right? So how does this resolution entail to find these perpetrators and then charge them the money needed to stop this to put this resolution in order in Pakistan?
Very much, Delegate. Point of clarification, or
Actually, as stated by the delegation of Mexico, actually all resolutions are fighting for peaceful solutions here. When some of the delegations question our resolution about our measures towards this issue, we were talking about investigation support, right? Not about violent action. So actually all resolutions by definition in UN fights for peaceful endings and also solutions, and think it means to get to what we really are fighting for, in this case, modern slavery.
Delegation of Argentina, you have been recognized. First the POI and then the point of clarification.
Does the delegation not agree that if a fund is created to help out those developing countries to implement this resolution would end up working flawlessly?
The delegation does agree that if a fund is added to this resolution as an amendment, this resolution would be a great option to solve this issue in developing nations.
Thank you very much, Delegate. Now we will be moving on to amendments for this resolution. No, that is not in order. Now we will be moving on into amendments.
The delegation yields the floor back to the chair.
Thank you very much. Luisa has sent the amendment form into the Google Classroom. And remember, delegates, no striking all clauses because this will not happen. Like, there is no resolution that is 100% wrong. So no striking all clauses. And is there a maximum of amendments for each delegation? Let's keep it short.
We would like to keep it short due to time constraints. We are 40 people, 20 delegations.
So one amendment.
Not 2 amendments per delegation.
And if we do not have time to like entertain points of information for the speeches for and against the amendments, then we will not be doing so. But you have, is there any motion for an moderated caucus?
We will limit it to
How
5
many
minutes.
For how many minutes? 10 minutes. 10. We'll do 10 minutes.
10 minutes. The time will be
11:52.
11:52, yes. And then we'll... The form is in the Google Classroom. It's written amendment from, accidentally. It's meant to be written form. Topic A, resolution 1.